Mahalo soy for Manuia. I'm Nuali'i Eteroa Lafaele.
And I'm Julia Arnott-Neenee. And this is Tech Voyagers, a series that explores the technology and digital realm as Pasefika trailblazers.
Join us each week as we recap the latest tech news and look into the wins, challenges, and impact of technology in our Pasefika communities. Love everyone, and welcome back to the show. Oh my gosh, yes. Sister, how has your week been?
I mean, I don't even know if we want to talk about my week, but how has your week been? Rambo. Rambo.
Bless. My car got stolen last week, and you know, if you look after a car, it will look after you. So I was so sad, and we had dinner in the broad daylight, eh?
In the broad daylight. In the city.
In the city. And then I came back trying to find them. I'd be like, beep, beep, Rambo, beep, beep, where are you? And I was looking around and people were looking at me and I was like, you better keep walking, or if you're not my car, please help me. So in the cold night, we, did all the stuff I had to do, but we have found Rambo, and that is the importance of this. The moral of the story is get insurance.
Get insurance. But sis, we can't skip over the fact that you had a very dedicated. Did I see? Was it a funeral with your whole, and like everyone had seats? Like, tell me what happened.
Honestly, because this car meant so much to me, I volunteered my family that we are going to have a funeral memorial service for my car, and I was surprised they came. But we literally followed all the Samoan protocol. So we got we called a kaikai or a host to lead the service, and even though my family didn't want to do the tributes to Rambo, they do know that, they did drive the car without my knowledge. Oh. I found out a lot of things about my car from my family. Oh. So, it's, we love funerals, eh? And I was very grateful that my family, and we even went to a restaurant. We went to Kobenko and Poriroa.
I love it.
Because, I need a traffic light.
I need to mourn.
To mourn. The pink bamfer. Like, I needed everything.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a really good ending of my car. But everyone was cracking up laughing at the funeral. They wanted to do a funeral for their car.
I mean, I think I want to now do a funeral for my car. But, as much as we love talking about Rambo, we are going to be talking about, part two. Or maybe, no, is it part two? I think it's part two, eh? Part two of our story, how we were able to raise capital, how we navigated all of the lessons and learnings along the way. But, before we get into the deep dive of our journey, we're going to go to Eti on the beat.
Eti on the beat. Eti on the beat.
Where my music?
Eti on the beat.
Where my music?
Eti on the beat. New topics for today. So speaking of AI, from my previous conversation about the AI ethics. So thousands of our authors, for example, have signed this big letter to AI providers to stop stealing their IP. So what's happening is all these AI providers that create ChatGPT, Llama 1, Llama 2, are actually writing their own books but taking it from existing books. And it's like, and you know what I read is that they're not even going through a legal route.
No, I know.
They're just like, I just pick your apple from your tree.
Well, and that's the kicker, right? There's no permission.
Nah.
And there's no payment.
Yeah, none at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you just go write your other version of Hogwarts over there without, not letting...
I know. And the big part about what they're asking for, and this is the crazy part, which I'm like, whoa, that's a big play, is that they're asking for and I looked this up, okay, because there's different, there's different fancy words in different worlds, right? But they are saying that no literary scripts, I think it's literary scripts, should be made, or literary material can be written by AI. That's what they're asking to say. And they're also saying no source material should be written by AI. So they're trying to protect themselves and their jobs from being replaced.
As they should. Because you know what? It's freaky. Because back then it used to be like, we're worried about our factory workers getting replaced by automation. Now that stuff is climbing up now to actual hard-working, brain-thinking stuff that we do. So it's scary how the years have passed.
And it's going to be really interesting to see how much ego and pride and capitalism gets in the way of protecting other people. Because I think that's the kicker, right? When we talk about AI and ethics, we're always assuming that AI is the problem. AI is not the problem. People are the problem. The decision makers are the problem.
Yes.
Like if old mate, I don't even know what his name is, but the irony of ChatGPT, right? The founder of that obviously went and did it, freaking made millions, broke it, and then writes the letter and then goes and visits the government and is like, we should slow down. It's like, bruh, why did you think of that before you hello? And then Elon Musk saying, hey, everyone, let's take a 6 minute, but it could be 6 minutes, but a 6 month pause so we can look at how AI is going to impact humanity. It's like, why don't you, all of you actually just it's on you. You have the power and control. It's not on, we have it always goes back to the human over and over again. But I had another crazy example, sis.
Yeah.
There is AI religion starting as well.
Oh my gosh, yes, you sent me you sent it over.
So there's robot priests in Buddhism and Protestant communities that are actually delivering sermons. That's delivering sermons and interacting with worshippers. And the crazy thing about that is that they're looking to actually use machine learning so that the robot priests are actually able to answer different ethical conversations or problem conversations that come up from worshippers. I mean, who ever thought that a priest would be able to be replaced?
I know.
Because of AI.
And you know what's freaky? Because our communities are so, connected to, religion and faith, that itself is
Oh, that's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Imagine, oh my gosh, going back to Samoa and the priest is a robot.
But you wouldn't even know. Maybe you wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
But another example too, right? AI-generated music. You remember what happened with Drake?
Yeah, I know. It sounded cool, though. I was like, oh, Drake is listening to DJ Noise? Look at him. Yeah, but it's no.
No. And then we've got another examples of, AI-generated models. So you remember Levi's, how they partnered with an agency that then created an AI-generated black model, and Levi's, the jeans, used that model inside of their campaigns.
Wow.
And again, ethical implications, that's not okay. That's not right. Should we really be doing that? Again, Levi's, if I was the CEO of Levi's, would I not sit with myself and be like, wow, rather than actually going on doing underrepresentation and sourcing marginalized and minority communities to be part of our campaigns, let me go the fast, cheaper, easy way and use an agency.
And go and generate them. That's so, it's I can see the positives of it, where it's productivity. We love it. But it's just because what if that person is actually a real person? And it's
and also where are these images coming from?
Yeah,
have they given permission for themselves to be used? I saw one crazy example on LinkedIn this morning, sis, and it was this lady of Asian descent.
Yeah.
And she used AI and she took a photo of herself and she put it into AI and the prompt was, make the image of this woman professional for LinkedIn. Guess what AI did?
What did AI do?
It made her white.
Hey.
So that means that within the data set of that AI, it assumes that professional in LinkedIn equals a white woman. It literally changed her ethnicity, sis.
Man. Just to be seen in LinkedIn, which is
that's mental.
That's crazy.
And then, another example I saw. So the Washington Post did an interview with an AI-generated Harriet Tubman. Now, if anyone knows who Harriet Tubman is, she's a social activist. She escaped from slavery herself. So this was centuries ago, I think, to a degree, over in America. And she was an American abolitionist, which means they were trying to abolish slavery. Wow. So she escaped slavery.
Yeah.
She then did about 13 missions and to save other slaves, some of which with her family. And then the Washington Post interviews an AI-generated version of her. Did her family give permission for this AI? Would she have wanted that? Would she be wanted? Is that what we're doing now? People and the social justice of that person and what that person stands for. We're now just copy pasting, creating a conversation. It's wild.
But that's just that's endangering her. What if she's off on another mission?
Well, she's
she's
passed away a long time ago, sis.
May you rest in peace, my sister. See. Oh my gosh, Black Mirror. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have watched it because I stood up watching it twice because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. So for those
full on.
It's full on. So for those that are listening, there's this episode called Jonah's Awful, and it's literally, how do you explain it? It's about AI, but when you're watching it, it's literally Sister Joan just living her life, doing what she does, and then one night with her fiance sitting on the couch, she sees on Streamberry, which is like a version of Netflix, kind of like a season or like a TV show about her life, and the title is Jonah's Awful. So she's watching it, but she doesn't click that it's actually about her life that she just lived a few hours ago, and yeah, I was like, okay, this is cool. And they're going through the life, and the poor husband finds out all the stuff. But then we find out it's actually an AI-generated TV show about her life.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's literally crazy. And I when I was watching it, and because each day she lives her life, right?
Yep.
She doesn't realize that a new episode is going to come out tomorrow of what she did.
Yeah, of what she did.
Or like, I don't even know if it's tomorrow, like that evening is going to be a recap of what she physically did in her day. And so it's wild to me. And I think the thing that was crazy about it, right, is that what came out was she had handed over in the T's and C's of becoming a user of Streamberry. There was a clause in there that said, and I give permission for Streamberry to make content about my life and just things going on. What we didn't realize is that it meant that Streamberry is actually picking up on every single data point, piece and thing that she's doing every single day. And that also they used an actress to be playing her as well.
Without her consent.
Without her consent! Which, how ironic is that for what's happening in Hollywood right now?
I know, right? And it's just like, and you don't know what you're going to be portrayed as. So it'll affect your reputation and all that stuff. And, you know what? Watch that episode. Because it's literally, it freaks me out how it might be the future. And it's important to always read the small print. Don't just tick it, read it. Yes. And that's news from me. Itzy on the beat.
Woo!
Itzy on the beat. Itzy on the beat.
So last week we talked about our individual stories, my world, flying across the world and then coming home, the amazing journey of you ditching chemistry for a while and then coming in and doing tech and startups and things. And then our date, our amazing date at KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Let's go. But I guess if we actually think about it, so we had our own personal journeys in tech, but we were also doing our own personal work in the space of digital equity and like the digital divide. So do you want to kind of share a little bit more, Sis, about like Digital Tour? Because that in and of itself was an amazing part to, I guess, the story of Whaibawhale that people don't also realize is connected to, right?
Yeah, everyone always forgets it's connected. So what was it, 2021 now?
2020 or 2020 was when the first lockdown and then 2021 was another
the second lockdown. So it was like August. So this is when I was still working at Xero. You should have seen the room when the lockdown went. Everyone was panicking as if they didn't even have food in their pantry. Running off and I was looking at them going, oh my gosh. So there's me, and I stayed behind just to wait the traffic out, and then driving back I had like a call from a minister from Porirua. I'm in Auckland, and then when I was on that call and I hopped off that one, I had like 9 other missed calls, and they were just all community leaders, and the only thing they asked was devices. So my old job at OMG Tech, I hit them up and was like, hey, I got no devices, can you help me? So they gave me 10, and it started off with 10 devices, all of it gone in the first 2 hours. So you know how we were meant to be locked down and stay put? Nah, sister broke all the rules. And I drove around because there were boundaries. And I was okay to do it because it was one.
Is that classified as not in demand worker? What was the?
Oh, it's like what's it called? And like you have to be at the same level as a doctor.
Yeah.
And also the ones that work at like Pack and Save, because they had those, what do you call it, hall passes to go everywhere. But there's no such hall pass for a sister trying to give devices to kids. Like, that was just the reality. So that was the form of Digital Tour. And then I ended up like, what is it called? Is it Robin Hood? Yeah. So I went on LinkedIn. I literally did a video. I was like, hi everyone. can you please give us devices so we can help these families? And then, from there, my gosh, people came, social distance themselves while dropping off devices. And then because I was still working, I would work from like 8 to like 4, have a 2-hour break, and then go from like 6 to like 3 o'clock in the morning trying to refurbish devices. So that's how digital tour came. It was tiring, but we only focused on the Auckland region, then it went from up north, then to Hamilton, then down to Porirua, and then we sent like a few down to Christchurch.
That's amazing. Yeah. And how many devices in total, sis, since you started that, do you think you've distributed?
Oh, man, from 2021 till now, from a team of 2, I think around probably 2,000 laptops.
Whoa.
Because we raised around like, what's it called, nearly like 115K. And that's because we did a FundMe page. And then other corporates, and then your help too, sister, help us to try and get more money to also get more laptops.
Because I don't think, so when we talk about our story, you were already doing Digital Tour, and this is where there was that overlap in passion, right? Yeah. You were already serving the mission. We recognize that Pacific people don't have access as easily to devices, to internet, to Wi-Fi, and then equally, we're not in the industry in terms of representation of working in tech. Yeah. And that was where my work of like people for people with what I'd started, where we were trying to do events and funnels and bringing kids in to check out tech offices and stuff. So it was almost like we were operating within the same mission, but just individually. And then there was this beautiful moment, and I remember it vividly because somebody from Foundation North reached out, and they were like, "Hey." And I was like, this is, okay, hello. And then they're like, you're doing some cool stuff in the community. And I was like, rightio. And then I was like, do you want to jump on a call and maybe we can see how we could support you? And I think for me, because, and you'll agree with this, right? We were serving this mission never with the intention that it would pay our bills. And so when someone said, oh, look, we'll find a way that, we'll chat about how we could support you, I was like, oh, cool. More ways to be able to serve more people, or more ways to like do more programs. Yeah. And I remember I got onto this call and she was like, oh, tell me all the ideas you might have about solving the problem of digital equity. And I remember looking at her like, what? And then I came to you, right, sis? Do you remember that?
We met up. We were sitting there going, oh, is this a name? Well, for me, I was like, oh, this is a name. Oh, okay. We didn't know okay, cool.
Honestly. And then we wrote it. I think I remember we wrote a presentation. I guess we were merging our insights from working in the grassroots, or like having started efforts in the space of digital equity. Yeah. And then we also had our insights from working in the technology sector. And we kind of like workshopped and collaborated and thought about, well, what would be some solutions? Yeah. And at this time, I still think we were thinking of them as just really like, just imagine.
Yeah, like we didn't. Yeah, like how people go through processes and try it. Now we were just trying to see how we could help. Really. Yeah.
Honestly. And then thankfully we had some skills, or some existing skills from being used to writing presentations and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And we put it all together. And we presented it back to Foundation North, and she was kind of like, okay, this is good. Well, take this away. And we were just sort of like, okay.
We are out.
Cool. Like, we didn't get a no.
Yeah, exactly.
And then literally after that, it was, so there are about 8 other funders who want to meet with you.
That was so freaky, eh? Because I was like, hey.
Literally.
Weird, nah. Nah, yeah, doors were opening for us, which was something that, I know, but me, I'm not used to. Yeah. So it's there was always but where's the but?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so there was always just like you would walk at the front, I'd be like, I'd be like, I'm ready, let's go. But nah, yeah, and it's a very foreign journey. Like we never knew anyone that went through the similar journey too. So
totally.
Oh my gosh.
So I remember we had to spend all summer, preparing for this big meeting with like 9 funders. We had no idea kind of what was on the line. There was no commitment by any funder to say that they will actually give us funding. It was sort of like, you're going to come in again, you're going to present again. Yeah. I remember we had like 2 or 3 pre-presentations, and then you and I were meeting every Wednesday for 3 hours in the evening after our full-time jobs. jobs to like just prep. And that's when we started to sort of formalize these things around creating a mission statement, putting into practice, what is our strategy or how do we see ourselves creating systems change, thinking about theories of change, frameworks, all of this sort of, I guess, more formalized language to things that we were intuitively doing or seeing or noticing, and then putting it pen to paper or putting words to paper. Hey,
no, so fancy.
It was so fancy, and it was like a 50-page presentation basically.
Oh no, yeah, that's true. Because I remember the one thing, because even though we were going through that journey, I remember we did one exercise where we actually did a journey of our own lives.
Yeah,
and I think that was important too.
Yeah.
Just so while we're building, we know what direction we want to go to.
Yeah, totally.
And oh my gosh.
I know, and here we are.
I reckon.
And so we did this. So I guess this is kind of capturing this. How did we raise capital? How did we raise funding? Which also speaks to the timeline of how we built Whaibawhale. So we came into this big meeting back in January. We did our presentation, we tag teamed who was presenting what. We made sure we spoke about our personal journeys, our personal work, or like the mission work we've already done, the vision for the future, how we would love to be able to make this a full time, but not knowing, again, if that would be something people would even fund. And then we got a call back like sort of around the May period. So it was like January, February, and then this was May 2022, sorry, May 2022. And Foundation North is like, yeah, so here's some funding. Honestly. And it was like the most funding I had ever raised before from a single funder.
We had it. I remember you calling me at work.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were just sitting there. It was like quiet, and then I started screaming in the room. I was going, hey, and I felt so badass at work.
I know.
I was like in the room going, you can't touch me.
Oh, it was so good. And I was so grateful for the key community, contact person that sort of helped us understand the journey, helped us understand, what they're looking for, understanding their strategy, that we aligned to their strategy, and what we were doing really aligns to their strategy. And it's important for them to fund community organizations like ourselves. And actually, when she said that, she followed through.
Yeah.
Because that was the difference. And so we had that happen in May. That we had some meetings start to come up with Spark Foundation. And then August period, or July, August, we had to go and present to their board.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm going to tell the story about what that felt like.
Oh yeah, I was so nervous, and because that was the week of Samoan Language Week, and what's it called? I was like, I wore my purple pair. Oh my gosh! And I straightened my hair.
You did.
So I felt like I was getting ready for church. I was like, oh my gosh, extra layer. And then I met you, and because we got escorted into the little business room, and we were just sitting there nervous as a. And then they brought one of their members in, and like they walked us through in the boardroom.
Oh my god, huge!
I've never seen a table that big. I was like, damn. And I was just intimidating, eh?
Yeah,
it was just, for me, it was scary, and I didn't really know it's a hard thing to navigate that area.
It definitely is.
It actually feels like you're in an arena or something, eh?
It's a strange feeling where it's this, it's a rectangle room.
Yeah.
The table is usually rectangle too. You're positioned up towards the front because you're presenting. And all of those cues make you feel like you're in an arena.
Yeah.
Like you'll come to the front, so everyone else is behind you, but you're at the front not because you're the leader. You're at the front because you're being tested.
You're getting tested. I was like, my gosh. And like just I don't know, it's just like even the structure of things was very like the food was at the front. Remember, the food was right in front of us? I was too busy eating the food because I was just like, I don't know what we're going to do.
And do you remember the story that you shared too?
Yeah, oh my gosh. And that's the weird thing was I didn't expect to come in with my story and then cry in front of the board. Because, when we were going to school, that you got to talk like this, you've got to, wear this clothes and, bring this, what's it called, 1B5 book or something. But, we already were conditioned, but man.
Yeah, that's such a good shout. We were already conditioned.
We were already conditioned. And then, man, it felt like we broke the wall of Jericho. Floodgates from my eyes. Telling them about my family.
Yeah, and you went right back, sis.
Oh, it's just, I went hard out, to ancestors, back to the islands. And I think it was interesting because it was, one, because I was scared, but two, I was like, oh, I'm going to leave my part of me here. so that, you know, I think that's what we did was we left a part of our stuff at that boardroom so that the next gen can then, you know, put their plaque on or something. It just felt, but man, that was,
I know. And then after that, like, I think they told us the decision as well on that same day. Oh yeah, because we presented, then we were asked to leave the room. Then they had obviously like the deliberation or like the actual part of making the votes or whatever their system was. We were sitting in the other room, just sitting there like, what just happened? And then the chair comes out, and then Joel Lee came down.
Yeah.
The CEO came down, and then they told us the decision. Then it was crying again.
I know.
And then we were singing, and then it was just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, are we in a movie?
Yeah.
Like, where's the suspense? Like, I was like, hey, but it was so random because it's like they usually send you an email.
I know, and that was nice.
Yeah,
that was nice
very
that it was
different.
much more personal. And what that really did is with our Spark relationship, that unlocked multi-year funding, which gave us security where we didn't have to feel like, I mean, at one point it gave us security because we knew for 3 years we had a consistent bit of support that was coming through.
Yeah.
We still have to obviously find other funders to be able to make up our pool that we can really support the business. But there was at least one that was coming through for a minimum of 3 years, which was massive.
It was bomb.
And that point really allowed me to resign from my full-time job. Woo! Which, to be honest, I didn't realize how game-changing that is for philanthropy, because philanthropy often doesn't fund salary.
They don't.
I don't know what salary is.
No.
Salary, and operations.
Yeah.
And Spark was a game changer in that. They said we support you as social entrepreneurs and systems changes. And this funding is going to be ring-fenced or supported towards salary and operations so you can go out and deliver. Yeah. Because I think what we underestimated that the work we were already doing and the fact that we were able to just do work and make a difference while still holding full-time jobs proved to a funder that there's no shortage of things that we will do.
Yeah, exactly.
We are doers. We're not just talkers. No. And all we really needed was somebody to unlock that ability for us to know we're financially secure for our own sort of, financial safety, but to give us the freedom to just go out and keep doing and keep making a difference and not have to hold down a full-time job as well.
I do.
So that was game-changing. Absolutely game-changing.
And because like when you went full-time, it was just like it kind of it put stability on Whaipawhale as well.
It did.
Yeah, because Whaipawhale wasn't the original name.
It wasn't. I don't even know what. Oh, Tech Voyagers.
The name of this podcast. Sorry. Yeah, because that's how I still remember.
Oh, yes. And then we had a workshop around Matariki.
Yeah, on the name change.
On the name change. Well, on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so August, September, I went full-time.
Yeah.
And then we were able to also secure Fisher & Paykel, which was amazing, Fisher & Paykel Healthcare Foundation. And then we had a couple of other wins towards the later 2022. And then we didn't launch until November.
Yeah.
So technically we're in July now. We launched publicly in November.
But we were
How many months ago was that? 8, 9?
I think so, yeah. 8. But like the work was already being done, yeah.
Well, that was the thing. We were already delivering work, but we were just trying to bide our time to kind of make sure we were, maybe not bide our time, but just take our time to launch where we actually had receipts. So it wasn't like we were launching and we hadn't done anything, right?
We kept momentum.
And so we had our receipts of, here is the way in which we've already executed the strategy or our interventions. Here is the way in which we've already pulled together kind of like the vision for the future. And we're not starting from zero. Not to assume that we know exactly the answers and everything's perfect, but that we're testing.
Yeah, we did buy ourselves good time, eh?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Very good time.
And how did you find it, like, on that launch day, right, sis? So I had no idea what a launch really even is at all. Like, I just said, that's what people do, and you said that you're here. And, well, we pulled out, like, so we've raised the capital. I've gone full-time. We've already started delivery. We've tried to hire. That was a journey in and of itself, which maybe we'll have to get to in a part 3.
Yes, and a book. Because I feel like we have to add on a book, eh?
I do think we need to add on a book because the insights about that.
Oh my gosh.
Massive.
Hard out.
But how did you feel when we launched?
It was different, because I don't know. It's for me. It's easy to celebrate others, but when it's like us, it's like, oh wait, like I have to really step back and be like, we launched something, like, and I think I had to. I think it hit me when I went to sleep on that night. Like I just went. I was like, oh, we did it. Yeah, no, I felt real. Like I think it's just because I'm always in the mind of like doing, and everything's so fast that. I think it took me until I just sat there and just like went, we did it. Yeah. It was something proud because I've never done a launch before either. It's more like when you do your first thing, there's your launch.
Well, even on reflection, when we launched, did you think, I don't even think I realized we were putting something out of our bodies into the world. Like,
no, yeah, I don't.
Like,
that's true.
Quite often we just do events. Like we've done events before in the past. And when we were launching a business, I don't even think I realized that we were putting in. So here's the world all happening, and we were putting a new part of the system, like a new piece to the puzzle into it, and that will then change everything else around it.
Gosh, yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like we were actually putting. So here's all the different like. Triangles, circles, squares, and then here we are putting like a hexagon. I don't know what a hexagon is.
But you're putting it in.
But we're putting it into the mix.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everything else will connect differently because there's now a hexagon in and amongst everything else.
I don't know, and it's like we're not fitting for them. They fit around us, which is so crazy. Oh my God.
I don't think I even realized that.
Same. Oh my gosh. But you know what's in a hexagon?
What?
Is takeaways. The size of the cheese in the burger could be a hexagon one day.
Okay, here we go.
So I'll give you number one of our takeaways.
All right, tell me what we're having for takeaways.
Bless you. All right, so the first one is seeing the boardroom as a WWE Tag Team Championship.
Oh, what do you mean by that, sis? What do you mean?
Always straight out, I'm a Raw and SmackDown girl, always down for wrestling. But I could have not done the boardroom without you, sis. Because, when I went in there, and we always talk about it too, there was the main table, but then I felt like I was on the kids' table.
Yeah.
So, and because, usually with me, they always, one, the way I look, two, the way I speak, and three, my story, because I came through hardship, and it's just felt like a use case. Like, it's so good that you're here. But it's like, no, I'm meant to be here. Like I think when you go into the boardroom, fam, always have like a tag team, because there are areas where we can benefit both of us. Like,
massively.
There'll be something that might come to you or just tag in, and then something happens to me. Yeah, I'm out. Take me out. But it's just building their confidence together. Because, man, when we're together, people listen to us. Like it's interesting. So that's my takeaway for today is when you're in the boardroom, treat it like a tag team championship because you'll still come out winning. Yes!
That was well done, sis. That was well done. Okay, order number two. Ding. For order number 2, we have knowing how to sell yourself and having a personal brand. So I reckon, and I kind of referred to that like earlier on, which was because you and I had already demonstrating existing credibility, or we'd already had our receipts that we were not just passionate about this problem just through talking or being on panels. We were passionate about the problem because we'd gone out and started delivering solutions or started pushing movements or momentum towards creating things. So we'd already started to be in that delivery space. And through that built our personal brands, right? That built the knowledge of us, that built people having come to the things that we've done, people receiving your devices, people coming to the events that I had held previously. So by the time when we came together and we were presenting ourselves and positioning ourselves as this new organization, this hexagon, this Whaibawhale, it had some validity behind it. And because we also had practice, our value, because we knew our worth, I think that was also how and why we are where we are. Because I think if we had have gone in and we had have said, oh, well, we're just doing this on the side and we'll just keep doing it on the side and we don't aspire for it to be the main thing, or, we don't aspire to be growing ourselves, we'll just always sort of, have this on the side to be a place of service. I think people would have agreed to that and would have just accepted that. because that's people don't know what they don't know. But because we held out a bigger vision and a bigger aspiration, both for ourselves, for our community, and for the purpose of this organization, that rallies people behind the vision. And that was what I think brought people over the line, where they were like, okay, I'm going to get behind these two and I'm going to just back them.
Yeah. Because of our brand. Like, that's what we've been building for years, even before Faibofale. So
Totally. Order number 2.
Ding, ding.
So that's the end of episode 2. Hey, sis.
Ooh, yes.
Woohoo. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm saying everyone as though it's more than 2 people.
4 now.
4 now. Who's that? Dylan, Tim.
And 2 people from church.
Thank you, everyone, more than 4 people, for tuning into our Founder Story Part 2 that we just ended up. And you know what? We've realized that there may be a Part 3. You're probably sick of us talking about our stories, but we're hoping that everything we shared gives you an insight and a takeaway to build your own organization. So we're going to be talking about building a team, taking our products to market, what is the difference between a product and a program, and going out and delivering in the community for the first time.
Woo! Because if we can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and let us know what you want to hear about. We look forward to seeing you again in episode 3. Till 4. Catch you later.
Woo!
You have been listening to Tech Voyagers, brought to you by Faibofale.
It was hosted by me, Julia Arnott-Neenee.
And me, Nuali'i Eteroa Lafaele.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're following Tech Voyagers on your favorite podcast player so you get new episodes as soon as they land.
Join the talanoa and let us know your thoughts using hashtag Tech Voyagers on all socials.
And if you want to know more about pathways for Pasefika people in tech, visit faibofale.com.